Good Tuesday afternoon, Facebook, YouTube. How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy with TFG Sports Media. We're going to give you a little bit of sports news at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, it's time to rock. Hope everyone is having a great start to your week. Again, it's Tuesday, and it is time to talk a little sports. Make sure you come in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, that is TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SPORTZ. Here on YouTube, make sure you like and follow both of them on Facebook, TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. You also can follow me, Kendrick Roland Henderson, on Facebook, as well as on Instagram, Kendrick1969, and on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. So I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. What up? I got somebody in the house. What up, CT? Craig, how you doing? My good brother. How's everything rocking for you on this fabulous Tuesday? Again, man, we getting June is flying by. Actually, tomorrow is Juneteenth. I know a lot of people, it's a federal holiday tomorrow. So some people may have it off. And if you do, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you actually patronize a Black-owned business tomorrow if you so kindly would. That would be great. So again, Juneteenth, celebration of the freedom slaves that were free in Texas. Obviously, they got the word 2 years too late, but we're not going to talk about history. We're not going to talk about history. That's another. I'm good, CT. I just wanted to pop in here and give you guys an update on kind of what's been going on today. We're going to rehash because last night the Celtics did what we figured they were going to do. They finished it off. They finished it off with those Dallas Mavericks, and they won their 18th NBA title. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing. So the Boston Celtics now, they have the most NBA titles in league history. They were tied with the Los Angeles Lakers with 17 for a minute. Now the Celtics are champs. They got the gentleman sweep over the Dallas Mavericks. They won that series 4-1. They got the victory last night with a 106-88 final. At one point, the Celtics were up by 26. And I think most people knew that this game was never in doubt for the Celtics. That first quarter, you could kind of tell the Mavericks, they were just clanking shots. And I think both teams seemed to be a little bit nervous. Finally, the Celtics got in their groove. And then it was just a matter of time before they got the victory over the Mavericks, which, when you think about this series, this NBA Finals, where does it rank when you think about all NBA Finals that you've watched? And I've watched quite a few. I think it's going to be one of those in the mid. Wasn't a bad series, but it wasn't nothing that was just that great about it either, in my opinion. But I was glad to see the Mavericks get there. I did pick them in 6. Obviously, it didn't work out. Craig says they won it quicker than I thought. I thought it would be more competitive and it would go 7. I kind of agree with you, Craig. I thought it would go 6. I thought the Mavericks would win this thing in 6. And the only reason why I really went with that, because I thought the Celtics had such a big layoff after dispatching the Pacers. I was like, okay, they've been off for a minute. I think they were off like 8 or 9 days before the finals kicked off on that Thursday. But again, hats off to the Boston Celtics. They win their 18th title. Again, that breaks the tie with the Lakers for the most in NBA history. And we're going to talk about the Lakers because there's some rumors floating around. Ain't nothing been confirmed, but we're going to get to that here in just a second. Back to the finals. Jaylen Brown was named the finals MVP. He put up 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists last night. He didn't lead the Celtics in scoring. Actually, Jason Tatum did last night. He put up 31 points. He almost had a triple-double. He had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. He led the Celtics. And the Mavericks just didn't have an answer for those two at all series. And I just think the Mavericks bench didn't really give them what they were giving them in the previous series. I think their bench let them down, and they needed them against the Celtics. because Luka Doncic did all he could do, playing on an injured knee, I believe, and he has he's banged up a little bit, and he was exposed, specifically defensively. Doncic is probably not going to ever be a great defensive player, but he just showed that he just doesn't have it on the defensive end. But he did put up 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists last night, had 3 steals. He was 2 for 9 from three-point line, but he had 7 turnovers. So that didn't help. And Kyrie, who they really needed to show up big, he did not shoot well at all this series. And I like Kyrie Irving. Actually, he's starting to become probably my favorite player in the league, even though and it's not about him being a great basketball player, because he is. It's about the other little things that I've noticed he's been doing since he's been a Maverick. It was some video that was posted that I thought was pretty dope, that Kyrie Irving stayed on the court and made sure and shook hands with every one of the Dallas Mavericks, the team, the trainers, his teammates, the coaches. He made sure that he was the last man out. He wanted to make sure that all the Dallas Mavericks got off the court, and I thought that was cool. I saw that video somewhere. I can't remember. But he did not shoot well this series. He had that one big game, which was Friday night, he and Luka Doncic. But outside of that, he didn't play well this series. He only had 15 points and 9 assists last night, and he was 5 for 16 from the field. So Kyrie, the Mavericks really needed Kyrie and Luka to go above and beyond, I think, to win this series. And it just didn't work out for him, in my opinion. Well, it ain't in my opinion. It didn't. They didn't get it done. Craig says MVP was a toss-up between Tatum and Brown. I'm not mad that Jaylen won, though. I'm not either, Craig. And I think Jaylen Brown sometimes doesn't get the credit that he deserves because, he did sign that big max contract, which is the richest in NBA history, by the way. I think he signed that last summer, if you don't remember. He was overseas, but he signed the NBA richest contract in NBA history with that max deal. But Jaylen Brown just goes about his business. He's one of those cats, man, that does his thing. He's big in the community. I believe he's the NBA Players Association vice president. He may be the president, but I think he's the vice president. And he speaks out on a lot of issues. So, but on the court, man, Jaylen Brown is doing his thing. And just think about this Celtics tandem. Both Tatum and Brown are still in their 20s. Tatum is 26. Jaylen Brown is 27. Tatum, I'm sure. I think he's going to be up for a contract next summer. So I'm sure they're going to extend him or whatever. They're going to pay him big money. And these two probably will stay together. That is, unless egos come into play. Sometimes egos, when there's two superstars on one team, sometimes some egos get in the way. We've seen it happen in the NBA. We've seen it happen a couple of times. I know the one that come to my mind is Shaq and Penny down in Orlando. And it wasn't, I don't think it was Penny Hardaway. That was more Shaq on that. But and we also seen it with Shaq and Kobe as well, the late Kobe Bean Bryant. But again, Boston Celtics, they did their thing. Again, this is Celtics' first title since 2008. This is their 18th overall. Now they are sitting atop the league with the most NBA titles in league history. Again, Jaylen Brown won the MVP. He averaged 20.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5 assists for the finals. And he also won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. People are going to talk about the Celtics' road to the finals. They did probably have an easy road. They faced some teams that had some injuries. But at the end of the day, you got to play who's on the court. You beat who's there, and there you have it. So got to give it up to the Celtics. I'm not a big Celtics fan, but I like players. I mean, obviously, I'm an MJ guy, always will be. And I was a Bulls fan. And prior to that, Dr. J has been my other guy. So I was a 76ers fan for a while, too. So I was always anti-Boston. So, but again, I like players. And hats off to the Celtics. They win the 18th title. First title for Joe Mazzulla, who was in his second year as full-time head coach for the Celtics. He took over after that situation with Emi Udoka, who they eventually had to fire. So got to give hats off to the Celtics. Craig Thomas says it would be interesting how the Celtics will look once Tatum gets a new contract. If they both have max contracts, it's going to be tough to keep many of the players they have now. I agree, Craig, and that's the thing they're going to have to juggle. Again, Drew Holiday was a big pickup from my Bucks. He wins him another championship. He was very vital to this team as well. So will they be able to keep him? What are they going to do with Kristaps Porzingis? I know they traded for him. He's a little bit injury prone. What are they going to do with them? I got to say salute to Al Horford. He get his first title. 17 years in the league. What can you say about Al Horford? He was with the Hawks for a long time. He's one of those vets that can get it done. Salute to him. And if you don't know who he comes from, lineage, his dad, Tito Horford. I remember his dad playing for the Houston Rockets, I believe. And he played at a junior college in East Texas, where I'm located. He played at Jacksonville College. I'm talking about Al Horford's dad, Tito Horford. So, yeah, the Horford family is celebrating. Shout out to the veteran Al Horford for finally getting him a title. Derek White, he played an outstanding series. What can you say about him? The Celtics just had a lot of guys that they produce when they needed to produce. They made it happen. Peyton Pritchard made some big shots. And defensively, they did their thing. Defensively, they kept the Mavericks other players in check. So that was big. You get your hats off to the Celtics organization. As much as it pains me to say that, again, they got that 18th title. Will they be able to repeat? Now, everybody's going to be saying, can we see them go back to back? It's hard to do that. 82 regular game season, you never know what happens. You're going to have injuries. You never know what happens. So back to back is always going to be tough to do in any sport. Craig says, get rid of Porzingis. He stays injured too much. And that's probably something they're going to have to think about. Salute to the Boston Celtics. Again, I picked the Mavs to win this in 6, and it ended up being a gentleman's sweep. Oh, by the way, no team has ever came back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA Finals. And so the Mavericks they were behind the 8 ball anyway by being down 3-0, even though they got that big win on Friday. So what's next for the Mavericks? I think Luka Doncic needs to get in a little bit better shape. I don't think he was out of shape. I think he definitely has to improve his defense. He don't have to be great defensively, but he can't be a liability either out there, because teams going to take advantage of that. And I think they have to do that. Kyrie, I think Kyrie is going to be fine. I just think he just had a bad shooting series. Sometimes it happens, and it happens at the worst of times. They got a young nucleus, Derek Lively, Gifford, PJ Washington. They got some young players and some young pieces in place. They probably need to add, I think they need to add a little bit more beef up front. They may need to get a power forward with a little bit of muscle on them. And they need that third scorer, I think, that can give them 15, 16, 17 a night. With 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I think they need that third guy. So that's what I think the Mavericks need to do. And we'll see. The draft is coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. Craig says, do you think Boston threw game 4 to win it at home? That's I wouldn't say they threw it. I think they got uninterested when the Mavericks really jumped out on them, Craig. Because my thing, you think about it, I think it's just some games you just don't have it. And I was talking to a buddy of mine about that, because he said he was asking the same thing. I just think that may be part of it. But I think when you talk about playing in a 7-game series, I think sometimes one team, they just going to have a game where they just don't have it. You can't have 2 games like that. But in a 7-game series, you're going to probably have a team that's just going to have one game like, you know what, this ain't working tonight. Let's just go ahead and chalk it up. And let's just go ahead and regroup for the next game. And I compare that to the football, and that's why I say the playoffs in basketball and the playoffs in college football and football. In basketball is so different, because the Super Bowl, for instance, that's a one game. A lot of times, sometimes the best team doesn't necessarily win the Super Bowl. It just so happens the best team the team that plays the best actually wins the Super Bowl sometimes. Some Super Bowls, it happen like that. Now, in the NBA, in the playoffs, in 7-game series, 90% of the time, the best team is going to win that 7-game series, because that team is going to be able to win 4 games. That's just my opinion on that. I just think that, again, you talk about playoffs, college football, it's a one game, it's a one and you're done. and I think sometimes the best team doesn't necessarily win on that Super Bowl Sunday. Whereas in the NBA, in the playoffs, 7-game series, even in baseball sometimes, I think normally the better team is going to figure out a way to win 4 games. And then they're going to have one game they're going to put up a clunker. And that Friday night was the Celtics clunker. And here we are. They are champs, and there you have it. So, again, salute to the Celtics. Won their 18th NBA title. As far as what's going to happen with them, can they repeat? I think the Eastern Conference, they can get back to where they are. But it's still going to be tough to do that repeat. Craig says for Boston to beat Dallas the way they did the first 2 games, it's just weird that Boston would get blown out like that. I think they threw it. I disagree, Craig. I don't think they threw it. I just think in a 7-game series, you're going to have a game like that. I think a team is just going to put up a clunker. I do. You can go look at some of the other series prior to the NBA Finals on both sides. You probably can find one game where the team that eventually won the series, they probably had one game that they just didn't have. Go look at some of the Eastern Conference playoff games, Craig. Just go look at the scores, look at how it ended up. Then go look at the Western Conference playoff series. Go look at the scores in each game and look at what team won, and then look how it played out. I guarantee you're going to find one game where the team that won that series had a clunker. It wasn't because they threw it. It was because the other team came out and put it on them. That's just my opinion. Because, again, I know there's always these conspiracy theorists out here saying that they believe that all sports are fixed. I think that there's a possibility for certain sports to be fixed, i.e. boxing. I think that's the one that can be fixed, and it's easy to do that. I think it's hard to fix certain sports. I think the hardest sport to fix is the NFL, just because of the physicality of it, in my opinion. But can it happen? Can games be fixed? Of course. It always can happen. But I don't think a team goes out to throw a game. I don't know, because you ain't guaranteed to win the next game at home. The Mavericks shot horrible. You got a better shot at winning at home. A lot of times, home court advantage. But sometimes that doesn't happen a lot either in the NBA. We've seen teams go in. I mean, look at the series with the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. They went in and they beat Denver on their home floor the first 2 games. So in a 7-game series in the NBA, I think home court advantage is important, but it's not the biggest deal, because teams can go in and win games. That's my thoughts on that. So anyway, congratulations, Celtics. We're going to move on to our next segment. I wasn't going to plan on keeping y'all long. I just want to jump in here and give you some get my thoughts on some things. Next up, man, well, I was on YouTube earlier today, and I was just, you know how you doing, you just surfing around, and then I saw some breaking news from a certain sports channel that I follow. Breaking news: the Los Angeles Lakers have hired JJ Redick. And I sit up like, what? They've hired him? I said, I haven't seen this being reported by anyway. Obviously, we know that he's the front runner. I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, that most likely he's, after Dan Hurley spurned him, left him at the altar, so to speak. I already knew JJ Redick is most likely going to be the guy, but they said it is a done deal. Well, according to Anthony Irwin of the Lakers Daily, he will post something on his X account, formerly known as Twitter, and basically says that the done is pretty much done. That he was going to go and talk about it live, as far as JJ Redick being the next Lakers head coach. Again, this is all a rumor at this point. This has not been confirmed by the Lakers organization or any other sports news outlet. It's just, according to this Lakers Daily reporter, Anthony Irwin, he said it's pretty much a done deal. So that's where we're going with this. Now, JJ Redick, 40-year-old, played 15 years in the NBA, ton of experience. He's an X's and O's guy. He can talk great basketball. If you haven't watched the podcast with he and his good friend LeBron James, Mind the Game, they talk X's and O's and all that. So my thoughts on if and when this happens. Again, this is all speculation, is all rumored. The Lakers organization haven't confirmed this, but a writer for Lakers Daily, Anthony Irwin, has said it's pretty much a done deal. JJ Redick will be the next Lakers head coach. I think the Lakers got to get this right. And I don't know if JJ Redick is the right guy, but I do know there's some intangibles that he has, that he brings. Obviously, his basketball IQ, his relationship with LeBron, that definitely helps. He's not that far removed from playing, so he can probably relate to this generation of basketball players. So those are some positives that that I think he brings. He doesn't have any coaching experience at all, not even as an assistant level, not any of that. So you definitely got. I think the Lakers, Jenny Buss, owner and governor, as well as general manager and president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka, they got to make sure they assembled the right staff for him to help him and make him successful. Because I think the Lakers got to get this right. Because who's guaranteed? Who knows if how much longer LeBron is going to be there? Speaking of which, June 29th, I believe, is the date that he has to decide if he's that is LeBron James, is he going to opt in to his player option, which I think is $51.4 million. If he doesn't opt in, then he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which I'm sure that eventually he would probably rework something with the Lakers and re-sign with them anyway. So I don't know. That's one of those things. He's a former NBA player. Again, I think he brings some intangibles. Craig says he may be a good fit, but I think being on a podcast with LeBron is a conflict of interest. I'd rather Mark Jackson be the coach, but that's a pipe dream. Craig, I agree with what all you said 1,000%. That was where I was going with he and this podcast, he and LeBron James. What are you going to do with that? Obviously, you can't do that. That's a conflict of interest. And then the whole timing of how that happened, it kind of makes you think that they kind of set old Darvin Ham up, because that podcast started, I think, maybe a week or two before Darvin Ham was fired. And this kind of gave the Lakers a interview, so to speak, of JJ Redick, of him with LeBron and them speaking basketball talk. So I think LeBron and Clutch Sports, again, this is just my opinion, I think they set this thing up for how they want it to go. And we know LeBron has done this everywhere he went except Miami, because we know general manager Pat Riley wasn't going to have that. So I agree with everything you said, Craig. Yes, CT, 100%. As far as Mark Jackson, I think that ship is sailed. I think Mark, and I would have loved to see Mark Jackson get a shot, but I think at this point Mark Jackson isn't even interested in coaching anymore, in my opinion. I just think he is. I just think he's been overlooked. Now, I've heard there was rumors that he did interview for a couple of openings a couple of years back, but I think that was lukewarm. I just think Mark Jackson is not interested in coaching in the league again, unless it's for the right. You know what? I ain't gonna say never. It has to be the right move for him. And I don't think this Lakers job is the right move. It's too much instability, in my opinion. This Lakers head, it's been a coaching carousel since 2012. It's a lot of instability there. Then again, you don't know how much longer LeBron James is going to play, if he's going to stay in LA. What about Anthony Davis? All these things come into play. The roster is better, but it's still not that great. Rob Pelinka and Jenny Buss, I just think they don't know what they're. I ain't gonna say they don't know what they're doing. It's just some of their decision making has kind of been questionable. So I don't even think the Lakers head coaching position is that attractive, in my opinion. But for JJ Redick to get his foot in the door, why not get the opportunity? So again, this has not been confirmed. This is all rumors at this point. But according to Anthony Irwin of the Lakers Daily, that it looks like JJ Redick will be the next Los Angeles Lakers head coach. They've had like 6 of them since 2014, 2012. Byron Scott, Mike Brown, Frank Vogel. Who else? Absolutely, Darvin Ham. I'm missing somebody. I think it's been 6 of them. But again, and what way to put this out, by the way, the Lakers being petty. Why would you put this out the day after the Celtics win their 18th title? Kind of try to take some of the shine out. That rivalry still exists, obviously. So again, it's not been confirmed. No one in the Lakers organization have confirmed. There's been no sports media outlet reporting this. But again, Anthony Irwin of the Lakers Daily is saying that the Lakers are probably going to make JJ Redick their next head coach. So my last segment before I get out of here real quick, this is something I found it was real cool. Matter of fact, Dwayne Martin, a good buddy of mine in the media group, he actually put this in there, and I found it somewhere else. But Notre Dame, Fighting Irish, they are getting a trio of recruits, by the way, that you would probably know their famous fathers. They were former NFL players, and they all were former Steelers, by the way. Jerome Bettis Jr., Elijah Burris, and Ivan Taylor all committed to Notre Dame. Again, and they are the sons of their famous fathers. Obviously, you know who Jerome Bettis Jr. dad is, Hall of Famer. Former Steelers, they call him the Bus. He is his son. He's a 3-star wide receiver, according to 247 Sports. Elijah Burris is the son of former Steeler and former Giant wide receiver Plaxico Burris. He's a 3-star wide receiver as well, rated as a 3-star wide receiver by the 247 Sports. And Ivan Taylor, he's a 4-star safety, rated by 247 Sports, and he's the number 5 player in the nation at his position. And his dad is former Steeler safety Ike Taylor. So what a cool moment. This is a cool picture right here. 3 sons following in their father's footsteps in the next level. Hopefully they can make it to the NFL, but they all have committed to play college ball at Notre Dame. So, and it's funny, I just did, Father's Day was just this past Sunday, and I did my show. It was all about sons following in their father's footsteps as far as athletics. And here we go with three young men following in their dad's footsteps, who all were teammates at Pittsburgh. Steel Curtain, Pittsburgh Steelers. So salute to those young brothers. Salute to those fathers, Jerome Bettis. And I know it's a proud moment for them. Plaxico Burris, as well as Ike Taylor. Salute to them, and seeing that their sons will be able to follow their dreams at the next level at college. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. I want to thank my man Craig for dropping in and popping in. You always support me, man. I appreciate that. If you like, there's a little button. Thank you. The little $sign. You can contribute to the channel if you like, or you can hit my Cash App to help invest in building this platform. It'll all go back into it so I can get more equipment where I can go out and create my own content, sports-wise and all that, so I can keep giving you these sports news, live streams, breaking news, and just any of those sports stories that you may not have heard about, and I can bring it to you straight with no chaser. So again, good Tuesday to you. Again, tomorrow's Juneteenth. If you're off, enjoy your day off. If you can, support a Black business. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, keep it locked here to TFG Sports Media, as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube for all your sports news, live streams, and entertainment. Again, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.